Before we get into it, remember
I don't like this. Dad, I don't like this.
to like,
Please stop.
What's going on?
comment,
Please, you really freak me out. Please stop.
What's
Dad,
happening?
make it
Why is
stop,
everyone
please.
scared?
and subscribe.
Stop! Make it fucking stop!
Breakfast from around the world.
What is the best
Zoomer
breakfast in
content,
the
but interesting. Yeah, I can already tell since it's a vertical video on YouTube.
world? That is the question that I set myself to answer by trying each
Huh?
and every single one of them. For now, I tried the breakfast of 24 different countries, and I had some interesting results. So here's me trying those breakfasts over the past year in order from worst to best.
Rating
Okay,
breakfast
before he starts, guys, what do you guys think? What's the best and worst?
around the world.
I will say worst. Okay, I don't know, but like in Italy, I know that they basically just eat candy for breakfast. Not candy, but they eat like chocolate-filled pastry, basically, right? Where's the Swedish breakfast is based? Pop-Tarts, true. France, maybe I'm thinking of France.
Netherlands. This right here is hagelslag. It's literally just chocolate sprinkles on buttered toast.
The Danes do this as well.
And I have to be honest here, guys, this is a ridiculous breakfast. If I wanted a sugar rush in the morning, I just eat cereal. 2.5 out of 10. Comment your country so I can make your breakfast.
No, not with this, but I've seen Danish. It's just a big, thin chocolate sheet that you put on the sandwich. Igor's calling fake?
Rating breakfast around the world. Netherlands. So I have reviewed hagelslag before and gave it a 2.5 out of 10, but I seem to have upset the
Oh shit! He knew! I'm gonna find Igor in here somewhere.
entire country of the Netherlands, so I'll just do it again according to what the comments said. Firstly, I got the milk chocolate version now, so I hope you're happy. I also opened it correctly. I took a piece of white bread from a Dutch grocery store, and I didn't toast it. I don't know why you think that's better, but I didn't. I buttered it thoroughly from edge to edge, and I applied more sprinkles, way more sprinkles, because you
Okay.
are really upset about that.
That didn't make it better.
And now that I tried the proper version, I would like to admit that I was wrong. My rating was a bit too high. I'm gonna update it to 1.5 out of 10. Absolutely ridiculous. Comment your country
Slam
so I can
dunked.
try a better breakfast than this, please. I'll see you in the next one. Rating breakfast around the world. The US. When it's not sugary cereal for breakfast, which I'm not even gonna consider because it's just a spoonful of capitalism, the American breakfast is simply a bad impersonation of the European diner-style breakfast.
Sure.
So essentially we have pancakes, which, they're good. But with the butter and syrup on top, they're just dessert cosplaying as breakfast. We have bacon, which, sure, it's bacon,
It's
and
good for me.
fried eggs. The only respectable part of this dish. And listen, all these things by themselves are not bad, but bringing them all together in this fashion, plus don't forget about the glass of freshly squeezed sugar concentrate, results in a sad and frankly
juice.
soulless breakfast.
I'll do some Folgers from these pancakes.
Not a big fan. 3 out of 10. Comment your country so
He burnt the eggs. I don't know why.
I can make your breakfast. Rating breakfast around the world. France.
Oh, here we go.
Breakfast is not a particularly important meal in France, which is why they usually go simple with a tartine, which is a piece of baguette that's slathered with butter and or jam, plus a cup of coffee. Oh, and remember that ratatouille scene?
Oh,
It's true. The French may also consume pastries like the pain au chocolat, the pain en raisin, and the world-famous buttery croissant. And even though I love all these,
I remember at that breakfast buffet we were at where we saw someone had a plate that literally looked like this. They had skipped all the other breakfast stuff and only grabbed like 5 pastries, put them on their plate.
things, and I'd love to eat a fresh croissant in a small Parisian cafe. This is
Bizarre.
not good breakfast in my book. Je suis désolé, I'm giving the French breakfast a 4 out of 10. Rating breakfast around the world.
4.
Russia. These are sirniki. They are pan-fried cheese patties made out of cottage cheese, eggs, flour, and sugar. They're shallow fried in oil and then served with sour cream and jam. And they were pretty good. Solid breakfast, but a bit one-dimensional. 6.5 out of 10. Comment
Okay.
your country so I can make your breakfast.
Sweden!
Rating breakfast around the world. Brazil. This is pão de queijo. They're little Brazilian cheese buns made with tapioca flour that I'm putting into a bowl right here and adding some salt to. Over this mixture, I'm gonna pour some boiling hot milk mixed with some oil, and now the task is to mix this up until it becomes kind of doughy. This must be the stickiest thing I've ever made. So now just crack an egg on top of it and get it incorporated. After that, I added my cheeses, some mozzarella, and some Parmesan cheese. Mix until well incorporated, and it's time to make some balls. I just love handling balls in the morning.
Ha! Sex.
Anyways, bake these at 200 Celsius for 20 minutes, and check these out, they look so cute. And yeah, we gotta break these balls open. Look at that cheesy, sticky goodness. And these
that looks pretty good. That doesn't look half bad.
Super fun to eat. I respect them as a snack, but as a breakfast, I gotta say not very compelling.
Swedish breakfast being?
I'm gonna give them a 6.5.
Oh, he's probably gonna get to it, right?
Comment your country so I can make your breakfast.
And then we'll
Rating
see.
breakfast around the world. This is changua from Colombia, and it's actually a milk-based soup. This is one of the most interesting breakfasts I've tried, to be honest. We start by heating up equal parts water and milk, adding some butter and some aromatics. We have some spring onions and some cilantro, and I'm giving both of them a rough chop. We're gonna get those in there and bring the soup to a gentle simmer. Next, I'm gonna drop
soup in the morning? I don't know.
Some eggs in this broth, and the goal here is to poach the eggs. I wanted a bit of a harder poach, so I left them in there for about 5 minutes, and that's pretty much it. Now, apparently this is commonly seen as a hangover cure, and I can totally see that. It's a heartwarming soup that feels very soothing and light at the same time. It kind of feels like home for some reason. I was very...
No, I don't really have soup in the morning. I mean, there's nothing against that, I guess. It's just, it's not the kind of meal I don't know. It's not when I usually have a soup, is not in the morning, you know? It's something you have in the afternoon or evening when you're cold.
Surprised by this
I guess
dish,
you could
and
be
I'm
cold
a
in the
fan
morning,
of it,
though.
but I cannot give it more than a 7 out of 10.
That's good.
Comment your country so I can make your breakfast. Rating breakfast around the world.
It's cereal
Germany.
soup.
When it comes to a good German breakfast, it all boils down to one thing, and that is bread. These small bread rolls are called
Sauerkraut.
God. And they are the base of the German breakfast. Most often you'll see them buttered and topped with savory things like cold cuts, cheeses, and vegetables like tomatoes and cucumbers. There's also the world famous brezel, which is really just one of my favorite things just in general. And then there's the soft boiled egg, and they usually serve it from these cute little egg holders. I didn't have any, so I went a little DIY and crafted my own cute egg holders, cause I'm quirky like that. Let's take the top off and crack into it. Ooh, nice and leaky. You know, I like the German breakfast. It didn't impress me necessarily, but I appreciate its simplicity.
It's practical.
I will give it a strong 7 out of 10. Dankeschön. Comment your country so I can make your breakfast. Rating breakfast around the world. Switzerland. This is Bircher muesli. It consists of soaked oats served with yogurt and fruit. And before it was the go-to breakfast of any health-conscious hipster, it was created by this Swiss guy called Dr. Bircher Benner, in an effort to get his patients to eat more nutritious foods in an easier way. I made mine with some grated apple, yogurt, and a bit of apple juice. And after I soaked the oats, I added cinnamon, some berries of all kinds, and some toasted
This looks good though.
almonds. This is very, very close to what I eat literally every day. It's ridiculously easy and good for you. Solid breakfast, 8 out of 10. Rating breakfast around the world.
Whoa.
Philippines. This is tapsilog, and I'm starting by marinating.
Bro, like some of these quote-unquote breakfast is just... I thought the idea of it with a breakfast was that it didn't need like a lot of work to make, you know? You just kind of quickly plate something up. This looks like complex. Well, not complex, but you know what I'm saying.
Starting by marinating my beef in this soy-based marinade in order to make papa, which is the beef part of this dish. While the meat is marinating, we need some
they're marinating meat for breakfast?
garlic fried rice. So for that, I'm frying up some garlic and some leftover rice until it's all well fried. After the beef has been marinating for a while, we can cook it on high heat, and we cook it until it's cooked. Taste it to make sure it's not poison, and lastly, let's fry up an egg. Look at that beautiful egg, and assemble this Filipino breakfast. Oh my god, it was really tasty, especially the beef.
Yeah,
however,
that does look really nice though.
it took quite a bit of time to make, so for that only, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Thank you,
So
Philippines.
he's going up. At 10 out of 10, he's gonna hit Sweden.
Comment your country so I can make your breakfast. Rating
Uganda!
breakfast around the world, the UK. Yes, by popular request, I'm finally doing the full English breakfast. It's a diner-style combo of a variety of foods that kind of feels like the good version of the USA breakfast. We got the beans, and you know I
True.
love my beans. And I even made my own sauce. It was just delicious. Very good. I pan-seared some cherry tomatoes on the vine, along with some mushrooms, with just a bit of salt and some thyme for flavoring. We got some back bacon that I quickly seared, and in the same pan I cooked some sausages, just until they developed a deep brown
Those are some
color.
very British
And
looking
who
sausages.
doesn't love sausage in their mouth in the morning?
Sex.
And of course some fried sunny side up eggs, with that egg yolk still nice and leaky. And this breakfast is absolutely delicious. Taste-wise, it's just amazing. But I gotta say, definitely not an everyday kind of thing. It's very heavy and fatty, but still amazing. This is a strong 8 out of 10. Rating
Raw pork
breakfast around the
sausage.
world. Costa Rica. This is gallo pinto. And to make it properly, I
Looks
had
a
to
bit like risotto.
make my own salsa Lizano, which is a special sauce they use for this dish. So I found a recipe online and quickly blended it up because it's an essential part of this dish. Okay, let's start with some onions, bell peppers, and garlic. Get them all sweaty in there and add the sauce.
I'm actually curious now. Chat real fast. I'm pausing in a sec. How long do you take in the morning to like prepare your first meal? If you even have, some people don't even have breakfast. But like, you know what I'm saying? How much time do you allocate to that? Because some of these would take fucking 40 minutes. 5 minutes, 1 minute max, 3 minutes, yeah. So most of these are not realistic for most like everyday people. But of course, this could also be, you know, it's a nice Saturday morning and you're trying to impress a friend who's on a sleepover. Or something. Yeah, I only drink coffee. Damn, that's hardcore.
Just some of the sauce. Now we're gonna get all of that mixed in and
Weekend-
add our rice.
yeah, these are
that's
weekend
hopefully
breakfasts,
a
exactly.
day old. After that, let's get our lovely black beans. Mix everything and cook it down, and of course add some more sauce.
Well, thank you
because
for the
we
flour.
love it. And then finish it off with some fresh cilantro if you don't hate cilantro. I used the bowl as a
Yeah, but
mold to
does.
create this lovely shape and topped it off with a fried egg, and it's tasty time. Very compelling breakfast.
All of his eggs are like burnt on the underside.
Relatively easy to make, nutritious, and it's got beans. I loved it. This is a 8.1 out of 10. Comment your country so I can make your breakfast.
Nice
Rating
and crispy.
breakfast around the world. India. These are alo masala dosas. Dosas are thin pancakes based on a fermented batter made out of primarily rice and lentils. After rinsing them thoroughly and soaking them for 6 hours, I just blended everything up until a relatively smooth.
Soaking them for 6 hours? Dude, this is the kind of stuff my mom would do. Like, you'd walk in the kitchen and she'd have like some bowl with water and stuff. I never... If I were to make this, I would go to the store and I'd buy them done, you know, pre-soaked or whatever.
Thing up until a relatively smooth batter formed, and I let it ferment overnight for up to 12 hours.
I just don't have
added
the
some water
foresight
to thin it out,
to
and
plan
then
my
just
meals
cook
like
them.
this.
Dosas usually have a circular pattern.
Sort of
caused by
night. I
spread-
could count on less than one hand the amount of times I have pre-planned a meal to the point where I'm preparing stuff the evening before I'm having it. That is like one of the most adult things to do ever. I never do that.
Turning it out with the back of a ladle, but I just couldn't get it right. We're gonna fill them with alo masala, which are spiced potatoes. I started with this spice mixture that just smelled amazing, plus some extra things for taste and texture. Then I added my cooked potatoes with
Never
just a
done
bit
that
of
for work?
water and just cooked
What,
that
for
until
work?
it turned into a mush.
I made
seasoned it,
I've made
added
like
some
food
lemon
boxes or
juice
whatever.
and some cilantro, and now
Lunch
all I
box.
had to do was fill up my dosas and enjoy. And I have nothing bad to say about this. It's very satisfying. 8.5 out of 10. Rating
When people say breakfast is the most important meal of the day, is that bullshit? Yes, that's like a fucking big cereal. A lie that like the breakfast companies sold you, sort of. I think an argument could be made that the first meal you have is pretty important. But not even then necessarily. Plenty of people live their lives just fine without eating breakfast. Everyone's different.
breakfast around the world, Turkey. This is
How do I-
NymnN.
What's with these new like weird videos that you can like select just the video somehow? Is Sponge done yet? What do you mean? He's done and not just on Twitch, yeah. Yeah, but you could just do oatmeal or something that doesn't require 5 hours
Wow,
preparation.
this is amazing. Top tier breakfast, guys. 9 out of 10.
Comment your country so I can make your breakfast. Rating breakfast around the world. Egypt. This is full medames. It's a fava bean dish
Mohammed
served
Salah.
with traditional Egyptian bread. And check this out, my can of beans has the Egyptian flag on it. So first, I prepared the beans, starting with garlic, green onion, red chili slices, and some thinly sliced tomatoes. I just got all that mixed and I cooked it for a while, and then I put in my fava beans. After cooking for a bit, to season this, I used salt, a squeeze of lemon, and a splash of tahini paste. And I just continued to cook it until it became this
This looks
delicious creamy bean paste. And this is traditionally served with an Egyptian
No,
bread
Tunisian
called
food? No, not
aish
really.
baladi that I tried making
harissa.
myself. And look, I'm sure I got a few things wrong, but I loved it. I opened up my bread and just filled it up with my beans. And you can see where
This looks like a really good meal, though.
this is going. This
Like
was actually
nutrient-wise as well.
one of the most delicious things I ever had, guys. Honestly, I know I have a strong bean bias, but this has to be at least a strong 9
Imagine
out
the
of
farts.
10. Rating breakfast around the world. China. This is congee. It's a type of rice porridge that has many different variations. I made one called pidan jisujo,
Looks like a
which contains
porridge.
chicken and a century egg, which is a preserved duck egg. I made some chicken broth using some chicken thighs and a bunch of veggies, and I'm gonna use this
Yo, what? He just puts the onion in like that?
liquid for my porridge. I'm getting my rice in
Oh.
a bowl and I'm gonna add my century egg in, smash it in there and massage it into the rice. Get it into a pot, cover it with your broth, and we just gotta simmer this for about an hour while giving it a stir from time to time until it gets to this smooth consistency. I'm gonna add some ginger, some green onion, some salt, and also my chicken from earlier. I'm just gonna shred it and get it in there. Give all this a stir and transfer
Yo,
it into a
breakfast,
bowl.
by the
Top it
way.
with some more things and serve it with some Chinese style pickles. Also get your Chinese best friend to give it a taste.
I actually think it's pretty good, actually.
This was a great breakfast, really soothing and warm. I enjoyed it quite a bit. 9 out of 10. Rating breakfast
Nah.
around the world. Greece. This is strapazzata. It's a scrambled egg dish done with grated ripe tomatoes cooked in olive
Hey,
oil
there's
with some garlic.
workspace.
The eggs are cooked
Now, this
with
is
the
interesting.
tomatoes and then they can be finished with some feta
Welcome back, my
cheese.
friend.
It is usually served with some bread, and my god, this was an amazing breakfast.
Mm.
Easy and quick to make, nutritious and delicious. Doesn't get much better than this. 9 out of 10. Comment your country so I can make your breakfast. Rating breakfast around the world. Today is my birthday, so I'm finally gonna rate my home country's breakfast. I come from Romania, and I went all the way back home.
Hey guys,
and
how's it
got my
going?
mom
Comparing
and
here.
my cat to help me. The Romanian breakfast is a charcuterie board type dish with all sorts of deli meats, fresh vegetables, and traditional cheeses. I went to our local farmers market and got all my ingredients from small vendors and family businesses. We
Wow.
got different types of salami, sausage, and cured meats. This right here is cured and smoked
I feel so
pork.
bad. I think I told you guys. I've lived next to a market for like 10 years now. Every morning at 9 a.m. they set up and they have like fresh fruit and vegetables like this. It's open until 3 p.m. and then they close it down and then they start the same next day. Same. I've never bought anything there over 10 years. Like a fresh vegetable market. I just go to the store instead.
This thing is a traditional cheese called telemea. Tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, radishes, onions, and this delicious roasted vegetable spread called zakuska.
Is dirt
Just
cheap?
put
Yeah,
everything
but-
together, add a hard-boiled egg for
I don't go shopping between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. I go like late in the evening.
good measure, and a couple green onions. Serve it with some bread, and that's basically it. My mom and my cat really enjoyed it, and I gotta say, the simplicity and the nostalgia is too strong with this one. 9 out of 10. Make sure to drop a follow as a birthday gift. Rating breakfast around the world, Lebanon. This is manaish. It's a dish made out of flatbread with various toppings, and I decided to make these flatbreads from scratch, according to a recipe I
Storm!
found on a Lebanese YouTube channel. After mixing all
Top
the
cock.
ingredients and kneading for a bit, I had to let it rest for 45 minutes.
Whoa! What the fuck?
After I managed to get over that shock, I made some smaller balls out of the dough and rested those two for a while before rolling them flat into a flatbread shape. These come topped with this spice mix called za'atar that I just mix with some olive oil and spread it out using
Yo,
my own.
how many Ellie subs are in this channel these days? Can you guys all do a spin at once one time so I can see? Whee! Alright, now mods, scroll up.
own hands. They also have a cheese version, and unfortunately I couldn't find the traditional Lebanese cheese, so I just used mozzarella, but don't tell anyone. After 8 minutes in the oven, it came out looking like this, and I had them with some fresh veggies, and I have to say this thoroughly exceeded my expectations. I really enjoyed this. I'm actually giving this a 9 out of 10.
Of course you are.
Your country, so
he's giving everyone from a halfway through the video, he hit 9 out of 10. Now everything's a 9 out of 10.
Make your breakfast. Rating breakfast around the world, Japan. The traditional Japanese breakfast is one of great variety with multiple smaller portions of different types of food. Of course, we have a bowl of steamed rice, on top of which I added natto, a fermented soybean dish that is probably the slimiest thing I've ever put in my mouth. Look at that thing stretch. We also have miso soup, and I made
it looks like alien eggs.
Quick version that literally took me like 2 minutes to complete. I added some tofu to this for some light protein. And the final side dish I made was tamagoyaki, which is a Japanese layered omelette that involves a technique that I haven't quite mastered yet of adding the egg mixture gradually and rolling the omelette onto itself. It wasn't the prettiest thing, but I'm pretty proud of it. This breakfast was surprisingly quick to complete. It's nutritionally complete and it's not overfilling. It's tasty, complex, and it's really fun to eat. I have to give this a 9 out of 10. Pretty close to perfect. Comment your country so I can make your breakfast. Rating breakfast around the world. Mexico. This is huevos rancheros.
Why you need a rice cooker? Yeah, but I still don't understand the point of them. Literally just boil rice normally.
Which is a very famous
Mexican
breakfast. It was my first time making it, and I put a lot of effort into this tomato sauce right here.
I love Mexican food.
And you know you cannot go wrong with beans for breakfast. That's why I love Mexico. They just put beans in everything. And then, of course,
makes it easier and can't fuck it up. Yeah, but I just buy boiling bag rice, you know, where you literally put a plastic bag in the water. You can't fuck that up either.
2 fried eggs over a crispy fried corn tortilla.
What? What's so bad about boiling bags?
With some cilantro, and I have to say, this is my type of breakfast.
You don't eat the plastic.
I have to give this a 9.5 out of 10. I mean, it doesn't
get
much better
9.5?
than this. Comment your country so I can make your breakfast. Rating breakfast.
No, I don't eat the rice with the plastic. Are you guys for real? Boil in bag rice. You put the bag in the water, and then that way it won't stick and it won't ever be bad. And then once you're done, you just empty the bag and you're there.
Hey, welcome to my world, you know what I mean? I want to show you something I never seen before. Something called boiling a bag white rice, you know what I mean? You feel me? And I'm a white rice
shut the fuck up.
You know what I mean? You see the instructions. See how they say you could do it and shit.
Why not just boil normal rice? Yeah, say that to the rice cooker people. Because rice it's pretty annoying sometimes to make you, if you put like too much water, or if you cook it for too long and stuff, it can like burn.
But I ain't gonna read it closely. But
too little water or whatever.
Look at that shit. They actually want you boil your rice in the motherfucking bag. You feel me? Can you believe that? Boiling rice.
Do you get a rice cooker? I understand, but I'm just saying, why not just buy this? It just seems like way less of a hassle, and you don't need like a specific kitchen appliance just to cook your rice. You're just using regular pans here.
And it comes right out of the box.
More expensive? How much is a rice cooker though? You had to buy a lot of bags of rice. What do you mean? Most people fucking buy their rice in the bag already anyway. Maybe not actually. Maybe it comes straight up in the thing. But anyway, yeah, that's it. They cost a tiny bit more than buying regular rice, of course. Yes. But it's a convenience I'm willing to pay for.
Breakfast around the world, Mexico. These are chilaquilas.
I don't understand why I'm meeting so much resistance on this. It's like, it's the best thing since sliced bread, man. It's the only way I ever make rice. It's so convenient. Gondla de Bobo, 3 years. NymN, I'm sorry, but I vented. I am the imposter. Oh no. Are you guys really gonna argue against this because there's plastic? Like, fair enough, yeah, there's plastic. I just feel like that's not why most people are arguing here. They're just picking a point they can win on.
A dish of tortilla chips sauteed in a red salsa, and to make that sauce I started by roasting my veggie boys in a pot.
Bunch of
I got
environmentalists in
onions,
chat all of a
green peppers,
sudden.
tomatoes and garlic, and when they developed a deep char, I hit them with some chicken stock and transferred them to my food processor along with some dried ancho chilies which I covered with some hot stock for a few minutes. Just blend this up and
Did I have
give it a
good rice
taste,
before?
and realize you forgot the salt. And at this point we just
Yeah,
gotta simmer
I
the
understand
sauce
that
with some oil
properly
in a
made
pan
rice is
for
gonna
a
be
few
better than the
minutes
shitty
before
rice that I
adding
boil at
some
home in a
corn
bag.
tortilla
I understand
chips
that.
and just tossing them around with the sauce. I feel like 10-year-old me had an idea like this and just never got to make it. I also fried up some eggs on the side and added some avocado, some white cheese, and some sour cream. And guys, I'm not joking. I was blown away by how good this was. Like, this was a revolutionary experience for me. And I wish one day I'll be able to taste an authentic
This is new?
version. But until then, this is definitely a 10 out of 10, guys.
Oh!
Rating breakfast around the world. North Africa and the Middle East. This is shakshuka.
Tunisia.
It's a dish that originated in Northern Africa and is now very popular in countries in the Middle East. It's a pretty simple dish consisting of a spicy tomato sauce with onions and peppers as a base, but you can really customize it and add anything you want to it.
It's,
After the sauce has been
Austria's National Day today.
For a while, I create these little holes where I will deposit some carefully cracked eggs and poach them for a while with the lid on. And I have to admit, I am a bit biased because I absolutely love this breakfast. I make this for myself pretty frequently, and this is in my opinion a complete breakfast that takes very little time to put together. I have to give this a 10, especially because I finished the whole thing off camera. Comment your country so I can make your breakfast.
Rating breakfast around the
Never
world.
Sweden.
South Korea. Cut that shit.
Dump.
Soy sauce.
Sugar.
Sesame oil.
Garlic.
Mix that shit.
Foil that shit.
Carrots.
Salt.
Soy sauce.
Rice vinegar.
Sesame oil.
Mix that shit.
Gochujang.
Rice vinegar.
Garlic.
Ginger.
70% Pailada.
Sesame oil.
Mushrooms.
Salt.
Bake that shit out.
Zucchini.
Mix that shit.
Spinach.
Mix that shit.
That's crazy.
Garlic.
Cook that beef.
Skill.
Egg.
Why did they start editing it like this?
Sauce. What are you, a rabbit? To be or not to be?
Hey, hey.
Dude, it tastes amazing.
I personally think this is
TikTok
a 10 out of
collab.
10.
Rating breakfast around the world. Japan. Now, I have reviewed the Japanese breakfast before, I know. But honestly, ever since then, I keep coming back to it and discovering new things. I just love the multiple small portions of all kinds
Becoming
of
a weeb.
things. You got the rice, the layered tamagoyaki egg, the miso soup, which is packed with greens and protein from the
Miso
tofu,
soupy!
the Japanese style pickles, and even the natto. I just love slimy things in my mouth. I also added some baked salmon to this breakfast. And guys, this is nutritious, balanced, tasty, and it is honestly the perfect breakfast. So I'm sorry, but I have to update my score to
10 out of 10.
out of 10.
So what did you think, guys? Did you agree with my ratings? If you didn't,
No.
then let me know in the comments.